Hi there, I'm Mrs. Burns and I'm going to be teaching you the basics of identifying x and solving for it. There's a few definitions that I would like for you to write in your composition book just as a reminder because they are important to know. First, I want to obviously identify x or any other alphabet letter could be the variable in the equation. Basic first time learning about algebra is usually x, so that's what I'm going to start out with. So x or any is the variable. Then I want to say the two things that you will be doing while finding your x. You could either be adding or subtracting from both sides, or you'll be multiplying or dividing from both sides. The most important thing to remember while solving for your x is remembering what you do to this side of the equation, you have to do to this side of the equation. So let's jump right in and figure out what these x's shall be. Or other letters, like I said, any letter can be the variable. So first, we can see, if I was showing this to my classroom as right now, I would want my students to come circle the x. That is what we will be solving for in this equation. As we can see, it says x plus 1 equals 7. We are trying to figure out the x's, so first step we're going to do is we are going to subtract the 1 so we can get the x alone on this side of the equal sign. So what we do, since it says plus 1, we are going to subtract 1 since we are taking it away from this side of the equation and putting it on this side. So minus 1, 1 minus 1 equals 0, so that is going to cancel. We're going to bring it over here to the right and we're going to go minus 1. 7 minus 1 is 6. So that cancels out completely. We're going to drag our x down, drag our equal sign down, and we can see that x equals 6. Now that box is completed. We're going to move to the second box. There are multiple things that can be in an equation. So what we shall do, we can either subtract 2, like we did here, to isolate the x and subtract 1, or we can combine these two. 2 plus 1 is 3, so we shall be subtracting. This is called combining like terms. Since these are individual digits, we're going to combine these, which will make it simpler to find our x. So 2 plus 1 is 3, so 3 plus x equals 8. Now we're left alone with one digit instead of 2. So what we can do now is subtract the 3. Like I said, we have to do the same to both sides of the equation, what we are going to do, which will equal 0. Then we're going to bring down, we need to always do what we do to this side to this side. So minus 3, 8 minus 3 is 5. So that is good. We can mark that out since we have done that now. Now we need to drag down our x, drag down our equal sign, and we can see here that x equals 5. Next, this is subtraction. So if we come back up here, we are going to subtract or add from both sides. Like we did on this, since it was an addition sign, we subtracted, so it is always opposite signs. So now, since this is subtraction, we are going to add the subtraction to both sides since it is opposite. Let's go ahead and write that down in our journal because that is something to do for sure. Opposite signs for each step. So here here is our first step. We're going to use the opposite sign. We're going to put a star by that also because it is very important. So we're going to add 5. Minus 5 plus 5 is 0. So we're going to mark those out. Nothing to do there. Then we're going to add it to this side as well. 3 plus 5 is 8. We're going to bring down our equal sign, bring down our x, so we can show that this is nothing. So we can see here that x equals 8. We always want to make sure that we're not forgetting to drag down. Here we go. This is a 2-step process. Like we combine terms here, I'm going to do the same here because I think it's more easier to identify whenever you're subtracting and adding. So let's drop down our x. So we got minus 1, minus 9. This is going, so instead of, this is minusing 1 more. So if we go 1 more than 9, it's going to give us 10. 10, negative 10. 8 minus 10 equals 7. Now we have it simplified, so we have those two terms equaled to 10. So we got x minus 10 equals 7. So like we're referring back, opposite signs for each step. So we're going to add 10 and add 10, which will give us, this will mark out to 0, and 7 plus 10 is 17. Here we go. We're going to drop down our x. So that is the simplified, and drop down to find what our x variable is, 17. Next,